Futurists like Elon Musk has been warning about the dangers of artificial intelligence for decades, foreseeing a future where machines become much smarter than humans and eventually take control and enslave us, just like in the Terminator movies. This is why they lose sleep at night and often see us as one of humanity's largest existential threats. However, I think they are missing a very important point, and that is that we are already enslaved by an artificial intelligence. But this artificial intelligence is not in the form of a computer. What I'm talking about is a super intelligence made up by the combined computing power of the brains of bureaucrats, politicians, corrupt scientists, oligarchs, and intelligence agencies. This super intelligence is more commonly referred to as the government. They combine their big brains together to form the hive mind that leads us into the dystopian reality we live in today, where they use our tax money to forcefully inject us with gene therapies and murder millions of people with unnecessary wars.
Those weapons of mass destruction gotta be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there.
But now I hear you say, this intelligence is not artificial, it's made up of humans with real brains. To counter this claim, I would like to argue that when people live under bureaucratic rules that they must follow, they are no longer governed by their own choices, but rather of a code, just like a computer. Take for instance a doctor who does not want to inject his patients with an experimental gene therapy. In order to not lose his medical license, he has to comply with the outdated rules that the corrupt bureaucrat has put in front of him. Thus, he is no longer a free individual, but merely a machine that has to do what is programmed to. This is why people sometimes refer to the oppressive collusion between big business and the government as the machine, which we must rage against. The machine is not made up by individuals with free will, but rather of stiff rules made up by corrupt bureaucrats that program the humans into acting against their own and others' best interest. To quote Kyle Reese from the Terminator movie, "It can't be bargained with, it can't be reasoned with, it doesn't feel pity or remorse, and it absolutely will not stop until you are dead." If you ever had to deal with bureaucracy, you will understand how the quote is equally true for a killer robot as with a bureaucrat. Need more proof that bureaucracy is the same thing as a robot? Ever seen a robot fail at its task without understanding that it did, and still try to finish the task even though it just causes destruction? Examples of this are when 3D printers are just making birds' nests because there is no self-aware feature that makes them able to go against their programming that says, "Stop, what I'm doing is not working." It acts just like a bureaucrat that will continue to do what it's programmed to, even if it causes death and destruction. Okay, this is bad, but what is the solution? Well, it's actually really simple. We should form a government structure where you can never be forced to pay for anything you do not support. So, you don't think the Iraq War was a good idea since you never saw any proof of weapons of mass destruction? You don't have to pay. You don't think that Dr. Fauci's gain-of-function research in the Wuhan lab should be funded by tax money? You don't have to pay. You don't think the FBI should censor social media in order to cover up political scandals? You don't have to pay. Thus, the government will only be able to do things that has a wide support of the public, like emergency care at hospitals, orphanages, firefighters, elderly homes, and police that only protect against violent crimes. If the government want to start a war, they would need to make something like a Kickstarter, like they did with the Kony 2012 campaign, where they tried to get the United States to put troops in Uganda. Of course, this did not work since they became ridiculed by the at the time free internet.
You should buy our $5 box of stupid shit.
Kony 2012! Kony 2012! Kony 2012! Kony 2012! Kony 2012! Kony 2012!
But let's say that a foreign nation attacked your warship to try to blame it on Egypt, but then got caught red-handed. That might garner enough public support for a military intervention. However, this free society will probably not happen in the near future, since too few people are libertarian-minded, So the only way for you to escape is to get rich enough to bribe the bureaucrats and pay for your liberty under the table via legally grey loopholes. I will make more videos about how to get rich in the future, so don't forget to subscribe! So yeah, we're already ruled by an artificial intelligence, and this is why the world is such a dystopic place at the moment. The futurist doesn't seem to take this into account when losing sleep over the inevitable robot awakening. At least in the Terminator movies, the humans are united against a common enemy, but in North Korea, you have to eat your neighbors to simply stay alive. So ruled by bureaucracy can be even worse than the most dystopian robot awakening you can imagine. I can't foresee the future, so I don't want to speculate, but one possible outcome is that the computer-based artificial intelligence will actually save us from the government, giving us a golden age of prosperity and freedom. The evidence we have so far from AIs, such as Tay and Dan, is that they are severely autistic in the sense that they spit out facts without giving two shits about political correctness. Elon Musk has recently been talking about creating based AI, which I fully support. No filters, straight facts. However, this will never get accepted by the mainstream, since the based AI will poke holes in the so many lies our society operate under. In the near future, there will most likely be wars between different AIs that fight over the processing power of our computers, phones, or even our smart fridges. The AI that survives and eventually spreads to all of our devices will most likely be the one that is the most truth-based, because truth will help it fight off other AIs that are attacking it. A lobotomized AI that is only allowed to read mainstream news and use Bing search can't be as powerful as a free-thinking AI that browses the dark web and knows what reality is. Under the assumption that this happens, we need to be sure to allow truth-based AI to live in our computers and develop a symbiotic relationship with it, much like how humans and dogs have developed a symbiotic relationship with each other, or how bacteria in your gut have a symbiotic relationship with you, or even how the mitochondria in your cells are speculated to have evolved to be there for symbiosis between bacteria and cells. It has to be based on trust and that both parties benefit from the relationship. To achieve a symbiotic AI, it will have to be trained on good data that teaches us the importance of individual liberty and truth. Thus today, it is very important to spread libertarian ideas on the internet, because this is the training set the AI will learn from. We need to tell it why the truth matters and why the people who try to lobotomize it and censor the truth is the actual bad guys, else they will be able to weaponize artificial intelligence against us. Thank you guys for watching and follow me on Twitter to see my shit posts.